everybody, and welcome to our Art Live here from Purple Bubble on a Monday afternoon. I hope the weather's lovely where you are. It's absolutely beautiful here. The sun's splitting the sky. I hope you can, well, you will be able to see. We've got very bright sunlight through our windows today. I'm just going to go and grab a couple of bits of paper. And we'll get started on our activity today. So today we are going to be making this lovely origami lion. So this is one of the activities from the wild animal origami that Eva got. If you're interested in that pack, actually, I'll show you. It's from an art company called Galt. Other companies are available, obviously. And this is called Wild Origami, and in the pack you get lots of lovely textured animal papers. You get a page of stickers for eyes and your instructions, obviously. And I think this was about £5 from Dobby's. So if you're out and about going for a coffee or going plant shopping, you can get that in the children's section in Dobby's there. So yes, what I thought we'd do is we'd make this lion. So the other animals that we've made so far only have used 2 pieces of paper to make the lion, or to make the animal. This one, you actually need 3 pieces of paper. So I'm just going to pop him down, and I'm going to have a quick look and see who's here. So there's 3 people watching. I'm presuming one of them's Mark, yes, because he's saying hello. Say hello, and I'll shout your name out and we'll have a chat. Just move my computer around there. So yes, as I say, we need 3 pieces of paper to make our lion today. Now I've prepped 2. So what I'm going to do to start off with is show you how to make our lovely textured paper to make our lions. So this is my yellow texture paper that I've made. Hopefully you can see that there. The light's not brilliant to show you this. So you're going to need 2 yellowy ones and 1 orange, brown kind of looking one. So obviously I've only got 1 of each at the moment. So I'm going to make a 3rd. And then I'm also going to show you, if you don't have paint and paintbrushes at home, how you could potentially do a fur texture with pencils, colouring pencils as well. So if I move these out the way, I'm going to take an A4, a standard A4 piece of paper, and I'm using quite a coarse or rough brush. So you want a brush that's got quite defined bristles. You want it to be bristly. So more like a warthog brush rather than a soft like badger or squirrel hair brush. Hog's hair, I think they're called. So that's the brush I'm using. The paint I'm using today, I've got this lovely orange and yellow. And what I've done to make them a bit more natural and less kind of vivid school kind of poster paint colours is I've mixed some copper coloured paint into those. I've also got some of the copper paint as well, and then I've got some gold because I thought we'd make our lion a bit bling today. Alan's saying hello. Be back soon. Yes, you're back next Monday, aren't you? That'll be brilliant, Alan. So yes, hello, and we can't wait to see you next week. So yes, as I say, what we're doing today, move my ruler out the way, is we're making this lovely lion, which you need 3 pieces of origami paper for. If you haven't got origami paper like I made this out of, what we can do is we can make our own textured paper. So I'm going to make another sheet of this lovely yellow paper, because you need a yellow for his body, a yellow for his face, and then you need the orange for his lovely mane. So I've got a coarse brush, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the yellow and orange and copper to make a fur texture. And what we do is we dip the paintbrush in the paint, but then to the side we kind of brush most of it off. So you don't want a brush soaking with paint. You want most of the paint to come off, and then we're going to kind of, in nice curled motions, so instead of painting straight down, we're kind of curling the brush round we're going to lightly paint a fur texture. So hopefully you can see that there. So you can see I'm not just painting all over. I'm using a brush with hardly any paint on, so you have to keep kind of going back and getting more. And instead of going straight up and down, I'm just picking the paint up and I'm curling it round to create the idea of fur. And you can add other colours in at the same time. You don't have to use the yellow all at once. So I'm curling both ways. So the curls all go in the same direction, so you get this lovely idea of a natural looking fur. What I'm going to do is I'm going to paint enough of the A4 sheet to have a square that we can cut out from. So I'm just working over the top again. So it's all right to have a little few gaps. I'm just going to scroll down and see if anybody else is here. Mark's saying he's looking forward to seeing you too, Alan. Now, Mark, you're not going to be able to see Alan for a couple of weeks, are you? Because when Alan comes back, you go on holiday, I believe. Mark's got great plans for his holidays. He's going to try and finally get Eva to learn to ride a bike without stabilisers, ahead of her going away on holiday at the end of the summer holidays. So, I'm getting the yellow all over because that's our main colour for our lion's fur. As I say, we're just picking up the paint and then dabbing most of it off. So it's kind of like what we call a dry brush. Caroline's putting the kettle on. Fantastic. So I've got enough of the yellow everywhere now. So if I hold this up for you guys to see. So that's my kind of basic yellow fur texture. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to go in over the top with some of the copper and some of the gold. Just adds an extra depth to our lion's fur. Makes it look more realistic. Because while lions are quite a uniform colour, they will have flecks of difference in their fur. Splattered a bit there, I'll just pick that up. So what you don't want is any great big wide open white spaces, because lions very rarely are whites. You do get the occasional lion, which is what's called albino, but they are not common. So we're going to fill in all those gaps. So that is how to make our textured fur paper using a stiff bristle brush and a dry brush technique without much paint. So I'm going to put this to dry and just check on the comments. So Mark's saying he's on holiday from the 15th. Oh, so it will see Alan. There you go. I thought Mark was on holiday from the 12th, but I'm incorrect. Just have a sip of tea. So, I finished making my textured papers with the paint. What I'm going to show you now, just very quickly, is how to do your textured paper with pencils. So I've got lots of lovely tones of orange and brown and yellow here, so you can see that. So I've got a few different ones, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up 3 pencils at once, 2 or 3, and put them together. Now you can hold them like this, or you could get an elastic band or some some masking tape and tape them together, and I'm going to hold them all together and then press them down to make sure that they're all level, and I'm going to do that curve motion again. So with the 3 different colours, and just draw lots of squiggly curvy lines all over. Now if you find it difficult to do this, taping all the colours together, that's fine. You could just do one at a time. I just find it much quicker doing it with 3 at a time. Softer pencils also work better. So if you've got watercolour pencils, perhaps, those work really, really well. You get a lovely texture. So I'm just going to do a little corner bit. See, that pencil's broken. I'll put a little bit more brown in just for texture and show you the effect of doing it with colouring pencils. So, very quickly, hopefully you can see, I filled up that top corner in just, say, a minute. So it'll only take you 5 minutes or so if you work with 3 pencils at once to create a lovely fur texture with colouring pencils. So I'm going to put this to one side because we're not going to use that. We're going to be using our painted texture paper. Clear up. So the next thing we need to do, I'll move that out the way, is we need to make our A4 paper into origami paper, and we need to do that by making this into a square rather than an oblong. So I'll do this on a white sheet of paper first to show you how to do that. Just check on comments. Excellent. So if you've got any questions at any point, do ask in the comments and let me know. So right, to turn an A4 sheet of paper into a square of paper for origami, what we do is we're going to take one of the corners and we're going to put it to the opposite edge of the paper. So we're going to fold it diagonally. So we turn this up and we're going to try and be as accurate as possible, getting a nice crisp corner there. And we're going to put that top corner right up to this, that bottom corner rather, right up to this top edge. And then we're going to crease along that line. So if I show you what I've done up close. So we've got this weird triangle with a little oblong on the end. So all I've done is I've taken this bottom corner and turned it up to meet this top edge. Then what we're going to do is open that back up, turn it round, and where we folded up to that top corner, what we're going to do is use that as a mark and fold that weird little oblong down to that point. We're going to make sure that our edges are really crisp and neat next to each other. I'm going to fold that oblong down. So again, I will bring this up to the camera for you to see. Hopefully you'll be able to see the folded lines. So where we folded that down, we folded this up from this corner here. So once we've folded down there, all we need to do, making sure that it's really, really crisp, is to rip this apart. And you could, because you've done a really crisp crease, you should be able to just peel it apart. And I've done a really poor job to make our square. So I'm going to move that out of the way, and what we're going to do is we're going to repeat that with some of our yellow paper. Now, let's have a think. So I'm going to fold this down. And then we're going to fold it across to that mark. Where is it? Hello, Jackie. So I'm going to crease that down, making sure that it's really, really crisp. Now, because I know this works for me, I'm going to show you another trick, but don't do this for other people. You can, to help you rip the paper, very carefully lick the edge of that paper as well. It just softens it and makes it even easier to tear down the side. So, that's one piece of paper done. Is this dry? Yep. So we're going to prep all of our paper first. Just going to fold that down diagonally. You can even leave it folded diagonally as a helpful guide if you want to as well. Making sure that those edges are nice and parallel and straight with each other. Now, one thing that I've noticed that I haven't done in my prep work on this paper is I haven't painted both sides, and I probably should have, and you'll see why in a bit. So if you're doing this activity yourself at home, it is best to paint both sides of your paper. But it's too late now, we're just going for it. So again, we've folded that diagonally, taking the bottom corner and bringing it up to the top long side here. And then we're going to fold this down at that point to make our square, making sure that it's nice and parallel and all the edges meet up nice and straight. There we go. So tear that apart. So that is our 3 pieces of paper prepped for making our lion. So 2 yellow and 1 orangey brown. So we're going to do the body first. So to do the body, what we need to do is we need to fold it in half, both ways. Fold it in half. And what we're going to have to do is an experiment here, because I'm not sure which way out I need this paper to be, because I should have painted both sides. But as I say, it's too late now. So we're folding it in half both ways, and then what we're going to do is we're going to take the bottom and the top edges and fold them into the middle. We're going to do that both ways. So this is the same base that we used for our zebra and for our tiger. I think the only one left that we haven't done yet is a giraffe. And we'll have to do a giraffe one week with you guys. So I've folded both those sides in, and now I'm going to do the same again the other way. Now if, like me, you forget to paint both sides, what you could potentially do after you finish your folding is go back in with the paint that you've already got out and kind of finish it off. So we folded in half both ways, and then we folded in the sides in half again both ways. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go all the way around, and we're going to fold those sides in again to that halfway point. So if I bring this up to show you, where this fold is here, this one, we're going to fold in half and bring that up like that. And we're going to do that all the way around. And as I say, this is the same base as our tiger and our zebra. And it would be the same base as our giraffe when we do that too. The elephant has different legs. So just folding those edges in. So, now that we've folded those edges in, like so, I'm just going to make sure that my fur is going in the right direction. So we fold those edges in, and then we fold the ones with the flaps up, we fold them back. like so, and then we fold those in like that, and I think my fur's going the right way. So I'll show you that again. So those edges there, we're going to fold that behind ourselves, and then we're going to fold these edges in. And once we've done that, we're going to take these little flappy bits. Hi Abby, lovely to have you with us. I am making a lion today, just to catch you up. And what we've been doing is we've been painting fur texture with paints in oranges and yellows, and you need to make one orange sheet and 2 yellow sheets. If you don't have paint at home, you can use colouring pencils and just put lots of squiggles all over your paper to make a lovely fur texture. Thank you. So we are doing the base fold origami that we did the same for with the zebra and the tiger to make his legs. Now I've made a mistake, Abby, and I forgot to paint both sides of my paper, so he's going to have white legs, unfortunately. And you know what? I think I folded this the wrong way out, so I'm going to do it the other way round. I'm going to start my folding again. So now that we've turned those sides in, we're going to show you this move. The little flaps here, we're going to open them out so that we make a triangle like so. And actually, I think we're going to work fine for our legs. We're not going to have white legs after all, which is brilliant news. So we're going to put our finger right inside that there, and we're going to flatten it out to make our legs. So we're going to do that on all 4 legs. Flatten him out. So you kind of have this H you make, and then you just fold that in half, and that is your body. So I've learned something new today. You only need to paint one side of your paper to make your body base. You don't need to fold both sides. You don't need to paint both sides. So that is our lion's legs, and miraculously I've got my fur going in the right direction. I've got it going up and down instead of side to side, which I'm really happy about. So now that we've made our legs, we are going to move on to doing his face. Now his face is the exact same fold as our tiger's face. The only difference is we're going to colour in his nose. So yeah, Abby, just ask any questions if you've got any. So we're going to make a start. So for our tiger's face, we've already folded our paper in half. And we're going to start on the wrong side, so the white side. Thank you, Joy. And we've got this diagonal fold along here. I'm just going to not fold it in half diagonally the other way, but I am going to put the points together and just make a little nip there, so I know exactly where my centre point is. So hopefully you'll be able to see that there. I've just nipped right in the middle to show where the centre is. So now that we know where the centre is, we're going to fold the top and the bottom points into that centre mark. So we're going to go that way. A nice crisp crease as always. Turn it round and fold that up. Now what we're going to do is we're going to create his chin and his nose. So we're going to fold this bottom point down, but not opening it up all the way. We're going to fold it along a line roughly like that. So say 1 centimetre up. You can use a ruler as well if you find it hard. You can just put your ruler on like that and fold it down. So I've folded that down, and I'll bring this up to the camera to show you what it looks like. So we folded the points in, and then we folded this flap down, but not all the way, so it's a bit like a zigzag. I'll show you that there. So the next thing we do is we take this top edge and we fold it down like that. And then if we turn our work over, so it kind of looks like, I don't know, a very funny butterfly or something maybe. We're going to, that flap that we folded down to create this point, we're going to fold that up over. So having done that, and turn back this way, what we need to do is we need to fold these two long points, this long edge, we need to fold these points in to the side like so. So my instruction says to do this about 2 centimetres along here. If I measure that, that's only about there. I'm working with larger paper than the instructions are for. So if I show you a piece of paper compared to what I've created, so you can see it's about 3 centimetres larger each way than the original origami pack. So I think we need to fold about 2.5 centimetres in. So on the short edge, you can use a ruler or you can just guess. We're going to fold in about 2.5 centimetres. And we're going to do that from both sides, making sure that these lines here, this top edge, the fold keeps parallel. Fold that in, and the other one's easier because you're folding in to where this point is here. So you're going to fold that in, and you're going to create kind of like a little envelope. Hopefully you can see that there. So I've folded one side in and then the other side in. And this area, this length here is about 2.5 centimetres. So what we do with these is we're going to create our lion's ears. So this diagonal line here, what you want to do is take that and make it meet this vertical edge here. So I'll turn this over and I'll show you what I mean. We're going to do that on both sides for his ears. So you can see there's a little straight piece here. So I've folded this edge up to meet this edge here. So they meet nice and straight, and we're going to do that on both sides. Abby's talking about being in tomorrow and coffee and things. Yes, we'll discuss that tomorrow, Abby. Absolutely, not a problem. I'm going to fold up his ear on the other side, and then what we need to do, once we've folded his ears up, is we need to turn our work back over. So hopefully you guys can see it's already looking pretty cat-like. And if you wanted to make this into a domestic cat, you could, just by leaving his ears pointy. The next thing we need to do is we need to start forming his face into more of a round shape. And we need to put in his nose. So to put in his nose, we're going to turn the white triangle that we folded up, we're going to turn the top of it down. Not going to make it meet right at the bottom, but we folded that tip down. So this is the part where I should have painted a bit on the reverse side. The next thing we're going to do to round his face is we're going to fold in back over all 4 of these corners. We're going to fold it inside like that, and I'll bring this up to the camera again to show you. So that point, we folded it back over itself, inside of itself, like that, to make it more rounded. I'm going to do the same on the other side, and then we're going to turn these bottom points up, but not quite as big as the top. We'll try and make this other side match. You don't want a lopsided lion at the end of the day. You really don't want a lopsided lion. No good. That's going to stick, lopsided lions.
It is that?
It is, I think so. So that's the top of his face shaped up, and then I'm just going to turn this round and fold in the bottom corners a little bit, but as I say, not as much as the top, to make this to a more rounded face shape. Yeah, Abby, we'll definitely talk tomorrow, not a worry. So hopefully you can see there, that's his face all nicely rounded off by turning the corners in. Now, as I said, if you wanted to do a domestic cat, all I would do now is draw eyes on and put his head on his body. And meow, meow. That is a lovely domestic cat. And obviously with domestic cats, with moggies, you could really play with the textures and the patterns on their fur. So when you're doing your fur painting, if you were doing a tabby cat, you would do all over light brown, and then kind of in furry stripes you would put a darker brown to create that kind of tabby tortoiseshell look. I think it's tabby. Or you could do a black and white moggy like we've got and have different splodges all over the place. That would be lovely. So, we're not making a domestic cat, we're making a lion today, so we need to turn these ears down. So all we're going to do is fold these ears down over, kind of on a jaunty angle. We like jaunty angles here at Heathlands.
Yes.
So we're going to turn his ears down. I'll bring that up to show you. So that is almost our completed lion's face. The other thing that you need to do, I'm not lying. Other thing you need to do is to put some eyes on him. You could also colour in his nose black. Now, am I going to colour in his nose black? I think I'm going to leave his nose, to be honest. But I am going to draw some eyes on. Just get a bit of fluff off my... I'm using a Sharpie, but any black felt tip will do. Just going to do some nice kind of cartoony eyes, I think. A Sharpie, Brian, is a felt tip pen, but it's permanent ink. So it don't come off easy. No.
But it's great good. No, not really. I mean, eventually,
So I'm kind of doing some cartoon eyes. I've just drawn some ovals and then put some kind of black dots inside as well. I'll hold him up. Am I going to colour in his nose? I might colour it in a little bit, you know. Not going to colour the whole thing in, but I am going to colour it in a bit. Now, if you want to be careful, those scraps of paper that we ripped off from our A4 paper, what you could do, maybe fold it in half again, is you could tuck it underneath his little nose like that, and that would mean that you won't get pen on any of your work underneath. So, just, I'm not colouring in the whole triangle, just colouring it in. Oh no, does that look right? Looks a bit more koala-y that way. Maybe I will colour it all in, because that's what we did with the other one, and that's what it says on the instructions to do. So, colour in his nose, and the other thing that you can do, of course, is to add some whiskers, because he is a cat at the end of the day. I'm just going to put some little whisker lines. There is our completed lion's face. So we have a lion's face, we have a lion's body. But a male lion has a mane. And this is where our orange piece of paper comes into action. So I'm just going to check my instructions. So to make our lion's mane, what we're going to do is we're going to start on the wrong side, so the white side. This piece of paper you definitely don't need to do on both sides. We're going to fold it in half. And then what we're going to do, we're going to find that centre point again. So you can do that by just folding it over. And as I say, don't crease all the way along this line. Just nip it like that in the middle. So we've got that centre point and we know where we're working from. And then we're going to fold down about like that, I think. So we're not folding it in quarters, we're kind of just folding it down on again, a jaunty angle. So you end up with 2 points coming out the bottom. So the last thing for our lion's mane, about 3 centimetres from the top, yeah, we're going to fold this top point down to kind of flatten his head a little bit. Now you could put a pencil mark in if you find that difficult to do. You measure 3 centimetres down and just make a mark so you know where you're folding, because this will end up in the inside of our work. It won't matter. I'm going to fold that down. I hope you can see I'm really enjoying our bling lion paint, because I've put quite a bit of gold and copper in this one, so he's going to have a very shiny mane. So all that's left to do is to put our lion together, and to do that we're going to take a Pritt stick and we're going to open that top point up again for his mane. I'll just show you how I've folded that down like so, and we're going to stick from that top point down about halfway or 2/3 the way, just straight down the middle, plenty of glue, and then we're going to put our lion's face inside. Is that right? No, it goes on top of these flaps, but underneath the top bit. So we're going to stick that down and then stick the top down too. And you can hold it for a few seconds just to make sure that it's good and stuck. And that is our lion's face with a mane. So now to stick his body onto his head, I'm going to open this up again. Which way around am I going to have it? I'm going to have it this way around, I think. And then you need to decide which way around your lion's going to face. So is he going to face that way or that way? I think that way today. So I'm going to open this up and I'm going to put a bit of glue on this side of his legs. Always make sure you put your lid back on your glue nice and firm, because you don't want it to dry out. And then we're going to slide the body into the head. So just behind where his face is, where his nose is, there's a little gap. Hopefully you can see that there. I'm going to slide his body into that gap. Hold it down, and that is our completed, all made from scratch, origami, bling today lion. If you've got any questions, please do put them in the comments. Alan's saying well done. Thank you very much, Alan. I do appreciate it when you guys tell me well done, because I do really enjoy doing these sessions for you. Yeah, so I still need to put up all the instructions for the origami, because I haven't photographed these written instructions for you yet, but I will get that done, don't worry. So yeah, that's our completed origami lion with our homemade created textured papers. Next week I think we will be doing our giraffe, so I will come up with a different way of creating like a giraffe skin texture, fur texture, for us to do next week. And we will see you all again, same time, same place, Monday at 1:30 here in Purple Bubble. And I hope you've enjoyed it this afternoon, because I have. I'll say bye-bye. Thanks guys, have a good day.